7 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call to order the April 7th, 2025 Parks, Recreation and Forestry Commission meeting. Laura, do you have roll call?
I do. Nick Adams.
Here.
David Shaw.
Here.
Michelle Bond.
Here.
Jamie O'Donnell.
Here.
Online. Erica Pollock.
Here.
Lily Tressler.
Here.
And Katie Nelson online.
Here.
All right. First order of business is approval of the minutes from our last meeting. David had submitted some minor changes. Mostly it was just, as he called it, nitpicky stuff, I think, in his email. So any other changes to the meeting minutes? All right, hearing none, I'll accept those as submitted. All right, on to new business. Amendment number 1 to the construction engineering services agreement with Strand for the Cuyahoga connector path.
From what I understand, this is just an update on the, I mean, there's multiple pieces to the Cuyahoga connector path. But this seems like it's just an update. I think if Kevin hops on just a second, he might be able to help out a little bit more with this.
Hiring Strand to oversee the construction and do the inspections as necessary, correct?
Correct.
And that's pretty standard practice. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve this and recommend this be forwarded to finance personnel and the Common Council. Public Works, I believe, has already seen and approved this. So
They have.
So again, this would be an amount not to exceed $44,500.
All right, do you have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second
All right,
it.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next agenda item, agreement between WISDOT and the city of Middleton for the maintenance of the Cuyahoga connector pedestrian.
And so this has already been at our committee, but it's also been at other committees within the last month, and it's just coming back here mainly as I don't want to call it a heads up, but just to let you know the Common Council approved this and we are moving forward.
Great.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions about that one? All right, moving right along. Next agenda item, Arbor Day 2025 proclamation.
This is the same we've been doing for quite some time, is it not?
What's that?
This is something we've been doing for quite some time.
Yep, it is. And we're just recommending that we adopt the Arbor Day proclamation and move it on to Common Council for next week.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
This is Katie. I'll second it, and I have a question.
All right, we do have a motion and we have a second. All right, Katie has a question.
Would you be willing to let me read it at the council meeting?
That would be great.
Great.
You would.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, agenda item number 5, recognition of award to Tony Crum for the Sustainable Middleton Award.
I mean, it kind of talks about this here. He is going to be recognized next week, I believe, at Common Council. And for our Sustainability Middleton Award, he is our city forester / conservancy lead. And the award is going to be for spearheading several sustainability programs as Middleton City Forester Conservancy lead person. So we're excited about this. Kylie nominated him, and I think we found out last week or maybe the week before. I don't know, Kevin, if you want to add in, you can, about this, and he just found out about it himself. So that's coming up next week at Common Council.
Yeah, this is great.
All right. All right. Any other questions or anything else before we move on? All right. Agenda item number 6, the summer 2025 rec guy. Looks like you got them available for us.
How many hours and staff does it take to?
I don't even want to say.
Yeah, yeah, I can only
Oh,
imagine.
he showed up. Yeah. He showed up. He showed up.
It's a lot of us
I'm bad. Well,
with a lot of different departments working together. So we
Yes.
work with the police and we work with Pheasant Branch and we worked with Brent with communications as well as our marketing and communications intern and Kevin, Kylie, the rest of the rec department. Yeah.
as usual, this looks very nice.
Yeah, great. And then registration starts this Monday for summer programs and the first round of swim lessons.
How are you doing on hiring staff for everything?
All of the summer agreement letters went out in the last 2 weeks and they're starting to come back in. We're gonna have full staff this summer. We had a ton of applicants, a lot of interviews, and for the first time in a long time, we're getting to pick who is interviewing really well versus picking every single person that comes in because we need every single person that comes in. So,
Right,
I mean, we're hoping that just means like a stronger and stronger staff as the years go by.
you said you had a lot of carryover.
Yeah, we had, I mean, I don't think parks, well, Kevin could talk for parks, but rec probably didn't have to hire anybody in any positions. But we also feel like we need to be hiring kids every year. Just to make sure that when we have a year where there's more, I guess, college kids exiting, we're able to fill in those slots. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, but we had lots of great candidates. I mean, Middleton and the surrounding area is a great community and got a lot of really good kids.
Great.
I think the staff was already solidified as of last week Friday. I think the letters were supposed to be due that day.
Okay. Cool. Great. Any questions? All right. Moving on to agenda item number 7, Youth Center Cultural Showcase.
Our youth center has an annual cultural showcase that is very, very fun. If you get the chance to head over to Cromery for it on 4/24 from 5 to 6:30 p.m., you should. The majority of the kids set up tables that have to do with their background, and they might wear like their full dress for whatever nationality they may be representing, or bringing food or drinks or things like that. It's always, I mean, I eat something new every time and I learn many new things every time, so it's really fun. So we're inviting everybody from PRFC and from Common Council next week to it. Yeah.
Any questions? All right. Next agenda item, City of Middleton Park hours. And Michelle, you had emailed us after our last meeting, just to talk about, what our hours are and if are you just curious about what the process to change it, or like, why do we have those hours? It's 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, I
Those
was
are the hours?
just
It is.
curious. And I had
Okay.
looked at what some other communities did
Mhm.
and just wondered how we got to where we were, and it seems to be working, but I think knowing past history is helpful sometimes in case things need to be modified. Hopefully not, but maybe.
Did you find out any information on when it was adopted?
I didn't.
Okay.
No, and I'm not aware of when that was adopted either. I think that's just been what it has been.
Mhm.
But the question I guess I would have with park hours, I think part of it is we've had some, I think about Parisi and the shelter there and vandalism that's happened, and you know, if it happens in the middle of the night, I'm not sure, or if it happens during the park open hours. You know, if it's 10 o'clock a reasonable time to close a park, or is earlier a more reasonable part? I mean, you still have to enforcement of that, but
Which is the issue,
yeah,
not the hours so much.
yeah. So, and I'm guessing the 5 o'clock is, so we have accessibility for people who go out and run or walk
An excellent
early in the
point.
morning,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Some people play tennis early in the morning.
yeah, yeah. And I think some people play pickleball over at Lakeview Park early in the
Yeah,
morning too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What times have you found like other communities have their parks open?
It seemed relatively similar. It seemed, sometimes it went along with the shelter if it was earlier or later, that kind of thing. It seemed within the realm of what we were doing is what others were doing. It was just kind of curious to me, what we were doing and why and that kind of thing. So, yeah. And now that, the Lake Street Boat Launch is now a park,
Mhm.
that will be, park hours for there too. So
Mhm.
just kind of curious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, still have people who are might try to be ambitious and go fishing there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Wait and
know,
see.
I think some people that live down there are more sensitive
Yeah.
to Lake Street launch area.
Mhm.
Now that it's a park, it'll have park hours, and the question always becomes enforcement and things like that, and who notices to share if there is or isn't a problem kind of thing. So, yeah, I just think more information is better.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for putting it on there.
Mhm. And I think if this is something that, as a body, we were like, let's take a look at this, and maybe if we would, as a body, would agree to change, suggest to change the hours. I think that's
Yeah.
what it would be. That'd have to go through the ordinance changing process.
Totally.
Because I think that's written in park and city ordinances.
That's
Yes.
correct. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yes,
we'd have to,
yes.
yeah, that's a process of
Yes.
license and ordinance, well, it has to go to common council first, or license and ordinance committee, and then common council.
Council
So
has
it
to
is
adopt
It would be a pretty major move.
Yeah.
it's a process, but yeah, that's something if we start to see, if we get, community complaining, I don't know, Lord, do you know how often like members of the community complain about activities in the parks after hours?
I mean, I haven't heard of anything after hours.
Okay.
But I think like if you're looking to get in trouble,
I was gonna
you're
say,
looking to get in trouble. It's
Yeah.
not gonna,
it,
yeah.
it's usually not that people are using the park later than they're supposed to. It's that people are going in, doing things they're not supposed to.
Right.
Yeah, and I know we had, at one point, this is a few years ago now, somebody came or complained to the city about, I think it was Taylor Park up off of Highway Q. And people were like thinking that there was some nefarious activities going on there, but it was like, it's 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, the park is open,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they have every right to be at that park.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to if it was 11 o'clock and you start to see that, then you have some
Totally.
big, concerns to be reported, so.
Yeah, no, it's great. The parks are used. It's great. There's a big window, and as long as doesn't become a regular issue, I think it's a great thing. Yeah, and I thought like the email that we all received in terms of change of rates and things for this,
Mhm.
I think more information's better, because then
Yeah.
we have, the ability to think it through and understand why.
Mhm.
So I just think that's important. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right,
I have a,
oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. I have the park regulations ordinance up here, 21.01, 2 part A, and the park hours are 10 to, or closed 10 to 5 a.m. as you mentioned. There is an exception in here, and that's Quarry Park Skate Facility, which shall open at 8 a.m. and shall be closed during hours of darkness, as defined by state statute. So no person shall enter or remain in any park at any time other than as herein provided, unless specific written authority is first obtained from the Board of Park, Recreation, and Forestry Commissioners, and that's you guys.
I know we've had requests in the past too, for like Lakeview, for example, to stay at the shelter beyond closing time. I think we're pretty we pretty much reject most of those
Okay,
that come in. I
okay,
think somebody wanted to have a New Year's party that went long and I
yeah.
said no.
Well,
And
and great location.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The one thing that I've heard from other parks, either that there are requests or that there are things that the Parks Department or county is trying to establish is night sky viewing permits where people are allowed to come into parks, and these are typically parks that are farther away from the city of Madison, where there's less light pollution and folks are uh, stargazing. So they're in the park during nighttime hours, and they have a permit for that. So I know that Dane County has permits for night sky viewing.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I wonder if that we could turn that into like a promotion sometime if we know that there are going to be northern lights or anything like that.
And there's
Mm.
there's a lot of light pollution around here, though.
Yeah.
I know the last time we had those great northern lights, I went out Pheasant Branch Road and the whole road was lined with cars. It was really funny. I'm like, I can't get away from the light. But if we do have a park that's away from light, that'd be a neat promo.
The dog park.
Yeah.
Like you.
Out Highway Q. Mhm.
So, yeah, that's an option. Any other questions? All right, off to liaison reports. So at our last plan commission meeting, I guess really the biggest item that probably pertains to us is we kind of gave the go-ahead for the school district to start working on the renovation of the baseball and the construction of the softball field. Since that is city-owned land, it had been rezoned to Parks and Recreation. So they'll be working on that. Ideas to have just improved facilities, but also move the softball field to the school campus to be a lot more equitable for the girls that play softball, so they don't have to go off to Airport Road to play there in practice. So that was the biggest thing there. You know, we also approved the new logo for the pool at that meeting. So that is a go-ahead, I think, at this point. Aside from that, we approved a creation of a TIF district, or we recommended the approval of a TIF district. That's the way to put it. Over by where American Girl used to be, out in the business park, to keep a large employer happy and in the city. So that is contingent on the state government passing, basically allowing the state to exceed the percentage of which the TIF can be, but I don't know. I'm assuming that passed city council. So we're kind of waiting now, I think, for the state, but it sounds like there's support in the state to get that done. So, but I think that was pretty much all for the plan commission in their last meeting. David, do you have conservancy lands?
Conservancy lands on the 26th, probably the most park related thing, which isn't, but Pheasant Branch Conservancy Eagle naming campaign. We're going to try to get the eagles in the Pheasant Branch Conservancy, get some names for them offered by kids, and that'll come up. That was the big thing. We also started reviewing our conservancy lands plan and got bogged down in that. And so tomorrow night we'll take that back up. Kevin will be ready for that one.
If you don't mind, all of you should go on Instagram to the Middleton Parks and Rec Instagram site and enter the names for your choices for the Eagles.
Okay. I don't know if I have a good name for it. All right, and then Erica is Community Campus Met.
But they're just making the plans for like the four.
Is that moving
Five for,
forward?
like,
Is there progress being made on
Yeah, so I
that?
think they're just
Good.
drawing up the plans.
Yeah.
to, like, get
So
to us,
that's a
and we'll have a few
big,
options
big
from there.
job.
And we just have to like talk to the community about it, and
Mhm.
I feel like they don't know what's happening. So.
All right. that is the conclusion of our agenda. So I will declare us adjourned. That was quick. Nicely done. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Record time? You didn't get a word in.